A healthy 32-year-old man, seemingly fit, father of 2 young kids, wakes up on an ordinary morning, grabs a quick breakfast, kisses his kids goodbye, and heads out for another regular day at work. Everything seems normal. He's the type who hits the gym twice a week, posts smiling photos on social media, has a good job and has never had any serious health issues. Mid-afternoon, during a meeting at the office, he feels a discomfort in his chest, feels like heartburn. He figures it's probably just something he ate at lunch, but within minutes that sensation turns into a sharp pain that radiates down his left arm. He tries to get up from his chair, stumbles and collapses. His co-workers panic. They call an ambulance. Paramedics try to revive him for 15 minutes, but it's too late. Massive heart attack at just 32, no family history, no visible warning signs, no second chance. And the scariest part, this isn't some rare tragedy. It's becoming more and more common. Recent studies show that heart attacks among young adults are hitting historic highs in the US, and we're not talking about a small uptick. We're talking about nearly a 3-fold increase over the last 30 years. People between 25 and 40 are dying from heart attacks at rates we used to see only in men in their 60s or 70s. So the question is, why? For decades, we believed heart attacks were an old person's disease. Something that happened after a lifetime of smoking, eating poorly and ignoring your health. But that idea is dangerously outdated. Today, 1 in 5 heart attacks in the US happens to someone under 40. We're talking about young men and women, many of them seemingly healthy, living ordinary lives, working, studying, raising kids, exercising occasionally, not extremely overweight, and still dropping dead from a condition that's largely preventable. What makes it even more alarming is that in many cases there's no warning. Most of these heart attacks are the very first sign of any heart issue. The first symptom is the collapse. Young people don't walk around with daily chest pain. They're not short of breath all the time. There's no family history. Death just shows up, abruptly and silently. And when doctors investigate afterward, what they find is shocking. Arteries clogged with plaque that's been building for years, chronic inflammation, sky-high blood pressure, and none of it was noticed or treated. So why is this happening now in the 21st century, with all our access to information, advanced medical tech, and so many ways to prevent it? The answer is both clear and troubling. We've normalized habits that are slowly destroying the hearts of an entire generation. The lifestyle that seems normal today is quietly creating the perfect conditions for early heart attacks. And most people don't realize it until it's too late. Most young people who suffer heart attacks have no clue that the damage started years earlier. They feel fine. They live their lives. And then, one day, their heart stops. As Dr. Michael DeBakey used to say, arterial disease starts in youth. What we do today determines whether it stays silent or becomes fatal tomorrow. And he was right. Atherosclerosis, the buildup of plaque in the arteries, begins forming in people as young as their early 20s. But you can't see it. You don't feel it. And because of that, nobody does anything about it. To understand why young people are having heart attacks, we need to take a hard look at everyday life, and especially at what has slowly become normal. Let's start with inactivity. Today's generation spends an average of 8 to 10 hours a day sitting. Between computer work, commuting, binge-watching shows, or playing video games, our bodies stay still for far too long. And this isn't just about a lack of exercise. Long periods of inactivity lower your body's ability to process fats, weaken the heart, slow blood circulation, and increase the risk of plaque buildup in the arteries. It's not about hitting the gym twice a week. It's about how you spend most of your day. Next, let's talk about food, another silent villain. It's never been easier to eat empty calories. The typical breakfast for many young adults includes sugary cereal, a muffin or white bread, and a glass of processed juice. Sounds harmless, but it's a direct hit to your cardiovascular system. Throughout the day, fast food, energy drinks, processed snacks, and frozen meals make up the core of many Americans' diets. These are foods loaded with sugar, trans fats, refined oils, and sodium, all of which are highly inflammatory. That inflammation eats away at the lining of your arteries day after day, silently, until the damage is done. Then there's chronic stress, not the kind that lasts a day, but the kind that goes on for months or even years. We live in a constant state of pressure. Job stress, financial worries, social pressures, emotional strain, all amplified by social media, constant comparison, and the feeling that we're always falling short. Chronic stress messes with your hormones, raises cortisol and adrenaline levels, and over time directly harms your heart. Blood pressure rises, your body stays on high alert, and your cardiovascular system pays the price. We also can't ignore the rise of vaping, the so-called safer alternative to smoking. It fooled an entire generation, but studies now show that regular vaping can increase your risk of heart disease by up to 80%. The nicotine and chemicals in those sweet-tasting vapors stiffen arteries, cause inflammation, and interfere with heart function. What looks harmless could be the spark that sets your heart on fire. And finally, one more hidden danger: the growing use of anabolic steroids and questionable supplements, often for aesthetic purposes. Young people chasing the perfect body, driven by unrealistic standards, end up using substances that overload the liver, kidneys, and most critically, the heart. Artificially induced heart muscle growth can be deadly. Put all these habits together, and you've got the perfect storm, a daily routine that feels normal but is quietly killing. And if we don't start talking about this urgently, more and more lives will be lost before 40. Here's a truth that doesn't come from the internet, but from someone who spent over 70 years saving hearts. Dr. DeBakey used to say, "The biggest mistake in modern medicine is waiting for symptoms." And that's never been more real than it is right now. The system waits for the collapse. Reactive medicine is expensive, in money, suffering, and lives. But prevention, it's simple, accessible, and powerful. But not all hope is lost. There's good news, and it might be the most powerful thing you hear today. Heart disease is largely preventable. Even better, in many cases, it's reversible if caught in time. The problem is that today's healthcare system waits for emergencies. It doesn't promote prevention. It treats crises. And here's the key: if you're between 20 and 40, or you know someone who is, there's a real, tangible window to turn this around. Studies show that people who make lifestyle changes between 25 and 35 can reduce their risk of heart attack by up to 85% in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. We're not talking extreme diets or impossible routines. We're talking practical, conscious decisions you can start today. This is where the story changes. This is where you take the wheel, and this is where I'll show you exactly how to do it. First, rethink your breakfast. What you eat first thing sets the tone for your whole day. Skip the sugar. Avoid sugary cereals, white bread, cakes, and processed juices. They spike your glucose and insulin, then crash you, leaving you hungrier, craving junk, and more inflamed. Instead, go for high-protein, healthy fat options: scrambled eggs, avocado, oatmeal with seeds and cinnamon, plain yogurt, fruits with skin. These stabilize your blood sugar, lower inflammation, and boost metabolism. Second, move daily. You don't need to be an athlete, no fancy gym required. Walk for 15 minutes after lunch, take the stairs, stretch when you wake up, put on music and dance. The goal is to break up long sitting periods. Movement keeps blood flowing, activates enzymes that clean out your arteries and strengthens your heart. Third, get sleep. It's not optional. It's vital for heart health. Getting less than 6 hours of sleep regularly increases your risk of a heart attack by nearly 50%. Build a nighttime routine. Avoid screens at least an hour before bed. Keep your room dark and quiet. Skip caffeine in the evening. Invest in a good mattress. Sleep is when your body repairs itself and your heart gets the rest it needs. Fourth, track your blood pressure. Get a reliable home monitor and use it weekly. If your numbers are consistently over 130/80, see a doctor. High blood pressure is the #1 silent killer. The sooner you act, the better. Fifth, don't settle for basic blood work. Don't just check total cholesterol. Ask for detailed labs. Triglycerides, HDL, LDL, fasting insulin, and high-sensitivity CRP, an inflammation marker. These numbers tell the real story of your arteries. Sixth, upgrade your cooking oils. Refined vegetable oils like canola, soybean, and corn are highly inflammatory. Swap them for extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, or even real butter, in moderation. Every swap reduces inflammation and helps prevent clogged arteries. Seventh, if you smoke or vape, hear this: there's no safe amount. The damage to your heart is real, proven, and serious. Quitting now could be the most important health decision you ever make, and there's help out there. Effective methods and support systems exist. Eighth, take care of your mental health. Practice deep breathing, meditate, spend time outdoors. Therapy can save hearts too. Don't underestimate the toll of long-term stress. The mind and heart are more connected than we think. And finally, talk about this. Share what you've learned with your kids, friends, nieces, nephews, grandkids. A single conversation could save a life. Your heart is a quiet organ. It doesn't scream, it just stops. And when that happens, time runs out. But until then, there's choice. There's prevention, there's reversal. Dr. Michael DeBakey performed over 60,000 heart surgeries. And even in his final years, he repeated the same message. Prevention is always better than treatment. And when it comes to the heart, it can mean life or death. And if he were alive today watching young people suffer heart attacks at 30, 28, 35, he'd say the same thing. Take care now, because the heart doesn't warn you. It just stops. If you've made it this far, congratulations. That means you're paying attention. You're ready to care for what truly matters. And now you have the power to change your life, and maybe even save someone else's. Don't wait for the scare. Don't wait for the collapse. Do today what your future self will thank you for. On their knees. Share this message, revisit it anytime you forget what's at stake, because the next real story could be yours, but with a very different ending.